Welcome to Beyond with Diana Stiles. In this podcast, I help you design your life to match your deepest desires and realize the highest version of yourself. I have been there. I had this ever-present nagging voice inside my head that said, "This isn't it." I made big changes, and I want to help you do the same. Let's go beyond where you ever thought possible, and let me help you get comfortable with being uncomfortable and create certainty by knowing you created the plan, your life, your design, and most importantly, beyond where you are today. Hello and welcome to Beyond with Diana Stiles. This week we're talking about the great return to work, how to eliminate burnout and work wherever and whenever you desire. So how does getting 100% of pay for 80% of work sound to you? A 4-day work week perhaps, or maybe you're just seeking location flexibility. A record number of people left their jobs last year. In the US alone, 47 million people left their jobs in 2021 for better, more ample opportunities. So many things converged all at one time. Workers were experiencing burnout even before the pandemic, but the conditions of the pandemic made even more knowledge workers say, enough is enough and I'm out. Or maybe you just took some much needed time off to recharge or regroup and figure out what you want to do next. Or were you one of those very smart people that took advantage of the fact that there are many choices out there? I have friends who took change of scene jobs, who do exactly what they did in their former company, but got infused with new energy because they're doing it in a new place. With any scenario, many of you are just interested in returning or changing your work. And lucky for you that with intense competition for workers, you're holding all the cards. This generation of knowledge workers will change history and how we work. No more are people going to accept jobs with no joy, no balance, and rigidity in location. You've seen these companies with these quote unquote hybrid models, right? Where you have to work in the office 3 days per week. They control what are the 2 days that you work remotely. They say they can't be Mondays or Fridays or some ridiculous, rigid rules. Sorry, these companies are going to find themselves on the wrong side of the demand-supply equilibrium and will surely have more openings than workers to fill them. They will have a surge of turnover with their current employees who just haven't left yet. So if you want to win at this game of the great return to work, first figure out what you want and what are your musts. Be clear in your non-negotiables, then seek out companies who offer those advantages. With very little research, you can find out if a company has a remote working policy, what employees think about working there, what's the culture like, is it a burnout driving situation? You can do that research before you ever apply and make sure that when you're applying to a particular company, that you're interviewing them at the same time they're interviewing you. Look for those companies that are offering 80% at 100% pay, and also check into the new trend, which is a 4-day work week. Many companies are boasting that in their postings, especially on this war for talent. So seek out those companies and see where you might be able to do your work in places that have the advantages you're looking for. Maybe you finally want to be your own boss and work for yourself. And it's time to be a freelancer. Companies like Upwork and Fiverr, they're thriving on people doing just that. You can control your flexibility and decide what projects you take on and how much you can handle and when you work and where you work. I have coached hundreds of people on work and career or these next chapter moves. And I can share with you now the questions that I use to help people get clear on what it is that they really want to do. One of the most important questions I always ask is, what comes naturally or easy to you? That kind of work where you just lose track of time because you're in your wheelhouse, you're in your zone of genius, as people say. What do you love most about the work that you do? Why do people like to work with you? Or if you're in a leadership position, why do they like to work for you? What problems do you solve? And further, how do you solve them? Then you can pinpoint particular jobs where you can get paid to do just that. Once I understand what somebody wants to do and how they want to do it, I probe further about where they want to ideally work. What's the setting like? Is it location flexible? Is it office specific? Do you like to work at home? Do you battery charge alone? Do you prefer an office setting, which a lot of people do? And those jobs are plentiful. There's many companies still requiring people to come to the office 100% of the time. It's not necessarily the trend at the moment, but there is many companies requiring it. And anything that you do has to be integrated within your life. You want to understand the deeper meaning and purpose about what you're doing so that it integrates well. Ask yourself some very specific questions about who does it serve? Is it customers? Is it helping people on a broader reach? Are you motivated to do this kind of work because you are supporting your family financially? You have some goals that you want to meet, and you're checking off the block financially on the goals by a certain time or a certain age. The more you understand the broader impact and the deeper meaning of what you're doing, the closer you're going to come to finding your dream job. And then my wish for you is that once you determine what it is that you really want, that you don't settle for anything less. Relentlessly pursue your action plan to bring this into reality. In the US alone, 390,000 jobs were put back into the workforce, available for workers. So chances are, if you're looking to make a change or you're returning to work, there's plenty of choices for you with all kinds of different situations available for you to find your right match. The chances of you being able to get the right job in the right place right now are higher than they probably ever have been in your lifetime. Sure, certain sectors like brick and mortar retail or certain tech companies that are laying off are experiencing a downturn. But at the same time, you can scan through TechCrunch and see all of the funding that's going to all the different companies that are out there. Every single day, money is being poured into companies to scale, to grow their workforce across all industries and all sectors. If you're still lost and you need to figure things out, sometimes it helps to invest in a coach for yourself. I have some specials going on at dianastyles.com if you want to book a session with me or one of my affiliate members. I'd love to help you figure it out. There are plenty of people out there who do this kind of work and can support you. For now, thanks for tuning in. And I will be back in my next episode about negotiating the deal, helping you figure out how to discuss the actual employment contract with you and a new prospective employer, or freelance contract for that matter. So for now, thanks for listening.